Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PWOLI IAS, UPSC optional batch for public administration. Please confirm whether the audio and video is clear. Once again, this is my Telegram channel. Any doubts or queries that you have, you may post it over here. You may send your PYQs also in the PDF format here. Without any further delay, taking you right into our topic, philosophical and constitutional framework of government. In the last class, we have just wound up with constitutionalism. So constitutionalism हमने देख लिया, and we also saw how there are various provisions within the constitution. Various institutions are there to ensure that constitution के जो भी fundamentals हैं उससे protect किया जा रहा है. And we also saw ये सब होने के बावजूद भी we are having many internal issues. We had emergency, we had war, we have Naxalism. We still have Naxalism, we have terrorism, and we have multiple other socio-economic issues in this country. No doubt about it. So this is our understanding of the whole thing right now. Now we are going to take it a little more further into our discussion. Political culture. Now I know this is there as a topic in your syllabus, it is there. But इसके ऊपर सवालें ज़्यादा directly it has not come. Indirectly you can mention it here and there. That's it. So political culture we are going to do. Understand it because it's a little bit theoretical. Not little bit, it's largely theoretical. That is what we are going to see here. So without any further delay, political culture is referred to as a set of shared views and normative judgments held by a population regarding its political system. Normative judgment का मतलब है what one society may feel, okay, this is right, or what one society may feel, oh, this is bad. Depends, right or wrong, that is what it means. So in India, it is considered perfectly normal for dynasty politics. But dynasty politics is basically unheard of in West. Exceptions are there. I don't deny it. Like George Bush and his father, all these people, if you see, they are all from one and same family. So exceptions are there. I'm not denying it. But not that father, grandfather, father, son, grandson, everybody will be like continuing to be at the top of the party or top of the leadership. That we will only see it in India. Why? Because in India it is considered to be perfectly normal. Clear, people? Good morning, Satish. Happy Shivratri. Good morning, Suganya. It is the foundation of all political activity, or at least as a factor determining the nature, characteristics and level of political activity. मतलब political activity हर देश में किस तरह का होगा, कैसे होगा, features क्या है, it will keep varying. Political culture in India is entirely different from political culture in the USA or political culture in the West. यहाँ पर we will see the candidates who stand for election, उनका एक बड़ा सा cutout होगा. उनके ऊपर people will go and put flowers, people will put garland, and people will go down to take their blessings. All these things you will see there. In USA, if you see, when the candidate comes, by the candidate, even if the president is walking and going, they'll be like, hello, Mr. President, how are you? How do you do today? That is how they talk. That is even if a normal person, what I mean by a normal person is somebody who is a blue-collared worker, doing a normal job. Maybe he's just a laborer, a worker in a factory. The president comes also, he is not going to fall on the feet. He is not even going to bother to even go and shake hands. He won't even bother to go and give a hug, take a selfie, nothing. They'll be just like, yeah, hello Obama, how are you doing today? Former president, same thing. Because in the Western world, it is just a job to do. It is just a job. It is your job. I am putting you there. to take care of my affairs. That is the culture in the West. मेरे जिंदगी थोड़ा और आसान बनाने के लिए मैं आपको वोट दे रहा हूं, वहां पर जाकर आपका मेरा काम करने के लिए. This is the idea there in the West. In India, that is not the case. In India, we see them as heroes. ये आएगा तो मेरा सारा प्रॉब्लम खत्म. That is how we view it. We don't take charge of. That is generally, if you see in India, that is Karan Arjun आएगा, ये हीरो आएगा, ये हीरोइन आएगा, कोई आएगा, सारा प्रॉब्लम खत्म हो जाएगा. This is the narrative what we have it in India. And this we are having since a very long time. Very, very long time. It is always there in our culture that one person will come and all the problems will be solved. As a society, if you see, we always blame others for our problems. We don't take responsibility. चलो हम क्या कर सकते हैं हमारी जिंदगी बेहतर बनाने के लिए? That we never do. We instead keep blaming government, that person, this family member, this relative, my parents, etc., etc. Because that is easier for us. We are always expecting somebody to do all the dirty work and make our life all the more easier. Society is like that. And because of that soch, that thought, our political culture is also the same. Clear, people? Good morning, Aparna. It includes historical experience, memory, social communities, and individuals in politics, their orientation, skills, influencing the political behavior, and this experience primarily contains a summary, transformed form of impressions and preferences in foreign and domestic policy. So if you actually see, the historical experience, the memory, all these shapes our political culture. Historical experience with the West has never been good for us. That is the reason why whenever West says something, also we will be like, theek hai. We will view it with a pinch, we'll take it with a pinch of salt. Now, Mr. Trump has told that he will probably give F-35 jet fighters for our country. दे देंगे, कह दिया, कहना तो कोई भी कह सकते हैं. The question is whether it will actually happen or not. क्या वो जरूर, whether it will definitely become a deal or not. That we'll have to wait and watch. Getting the point here? So these are things. Why we are not so sure about them? Because it is USA and it is Donald Trump. You can never rely on them completely. But let us say if Russia says that, yeah, we will help you with something. I think it is a Sukhoi 37. Then in that case, we will consider it better. Because with Russia, we have a nice relationship. And especially after the 1971 war, it is very, very strong. Clear, people? Good morning, Sakshi. It is a determining factor in which ideologies will dominate a country's political regime. It is unique to a given country or group of people. It is the people's psychological orientation. It implies a pattern of orientation to political objects such as parties, governments, and constitutions expressed in beliefs, symbols, and values. That is the point. People's psychological orientation, किस टाइप के आइडियोलॉजीज डोमिनेट करेंगे, सोच विचार क्या है, all these are the highlights of what political culture. So if you right now, if you see what is the current trend with the political culture in the country, it is freebies. कुछ सालों के लिए ये होगा. I'm telling you, कुछ सालों के लिए this will be the trend. Then बाद में क्या हो जाएगा? People will get fed up with freebies. Then they will say, we want development. They will themselves say, they will vote for a new party totally. This is the trend of Indian people's mindset. यानी कि अभी के लिए काफी है, लेकिन बाद में जैसे ही वो लोग पछताने लगेंगे कि फ्रीबी से कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, it is not increasing the employment, it is not increasing the average income of the citizen, they will say no to it. Clear? Political culture as a factor explains different patterns of political opposition whose salient elements are orientation of problem solving, orientation to collective actions, orientation to the political system, orientation to other people. मतलब आप प्रॉब्लम्स कैसे सॉल्व करते हो, किस टाइप के एक्शन लेते हो, पूरे सिस्टम के साथ आपका रिश्ता कैसा है, आप बाकी जनता को कैसे देख रहा है, all of this can be explained using the political culture of a country. All of this. Political culture approach does not refer to the attitudes to specific actors, such as the current president or the prime minister. Rather, it denotes how people view the political system as a whole, including the belief in its legitimacy. It is extremely difficult to define the term political culture. It is elusive and comprehensive at the same time. That is the honest answer for this entire thing. तो political culture क्या है आखिर में? You cannot define it. You cannot define it any one point. And especially if you are trying to define Indian political culture, it is all the more difficult. Why? Because Indian political culture के अंदर, if you actually see, caste is involved, religion is involved, region is involved, tribes are involved, gender is involved. तो कहां से शुरू करेंगे, कहां खत्म? Very difficult. But political culture is definitely has all these elements present in it. This and more. Intellectuals भी है, illiteracy भी है, poverty भी है. So everything is involved here. Everything. And that is the reason why you can never predict Indian political output. या फिर what is it? एक election के बाद जनता किस तरफ वोट करेगा, किस तरफ नहीं, you can never predict it. I've already given you the example. Now, when Ayodhya Ram Mandir, etc., was built, or rather the whole function, etc., was conducted just a few months before the elections, many people, including me, even people who don't like what is the BJP party or who supports Congress, they basically told that, "Arey, bhool jai son. Forget it. Definitely, they are going to win with a massive majority." गली गली में everybody just accepted it. अरे यही होने वाला है. But what was the result? What we saw? Forget winning a major. Forget crossing 300 or 350 or anything. BJP as a single party was not even able to secure the magic number 272, which was a shock for many. The even more shocking factor was that Ram Mandir जिस constituency पर बनाया था, वहां पर the BJP candidate failed. Getting the point here? That in that constituency they failed. Unpredictable. Getting the point here? So this is the idea here. So political culture is not something either you can define it nor can you predict it. You can see some pattern and you can probably say, okay, then why did the candidate in the Ayodhya, that particular, I forgot the name, that particular constituency fail? What is the reason? Well, grassroots level per people were not happy. People were not happy with the initiatives there. Infrastructure to bana diya, nice railway station, very good airport is getting constructed, this, that, all great. But literally, the grassroots level per for the people to get the benefit of it will take some more time. Plus, there was an overall dissatisfaction with the government. People showed their anger there. How you tell that people only showed their anger there? Well, everybody thought that's it. There is no more NDA wave. There is no more Modi wave. There is no more BJP wave. It's only going to be Congress from now. India Alliance performed incredibly well in the 2024 elections, Lok Sabha elections. Even I thought, wow, what a nice number they have got this time. Maybe there is a dissatisfaction towards the BJP party, and this is what is going to happen. The subsequent state elections, many predicted that it is going to be Congress that will be winning everywhere. We saw the ulta happening. BJP again winning in most of the state elections. We are like, what? क्योंकि गुस्सा निकालने के लिए 2024 इलेक्शंस हेल्प्ड. एंटी बीजेपी का जो भी गुस्सा था, बीजेपी नहीं चाहिए इस बार, दैट दे टुक इट आउट इन 2024 लोकसभा इलेक्शन. गुस्सा निकाल दिया, गुस्सा गया. नाउ इट इज लाइक नॉर्मल. हाँ, ओके, वी विल वोट फॉर बीजेपी, इट इज फाइन. स्टार्टेड वोटिंग अगेन फॉर बीजेपी. Interestingly enough, nobody, no exit poll, nobody, no so-called political pundits or scientists have ever been able to predict the behavior of Indian society when it comes to political culture or when it comes to election outcome. It is very difficult to predict. Getting the point here, people? Moving on. Political culture dimensions. Almond and Verba have identified 5 important dimensions of political culture, namely a sense of national identity. That is true. That son of soil concept, Dharti Putra, that is always there. Attitude towards oneself as a participant in political life. खुद के बारे में आप क्या सोच रहे हो in the political system. Attitude towards one's fellow citizens. बाकी लोगों के बारे में आपके एटीट्यूड क्या है. Attitudes and expectations regarding governmental output and performance. Again, what is your take on government and its performance? Attitude towards knowledge about the political process of decision making. Knowledge. Politically फैसला कैसे बनते हैं, कैसे वो लोग काम करते हैं. If you see India largely, national identity, yes. खुद के बारे में, they have a clear, most people have an idea. They have an idea about their fellow citizens. They have some sort of attitude or expectation. I'm not telling that they are well informed or well aware. जब मैं कह रहा हूं कि आइडिया है, कि मतलब है उनके, they have some सोच और विचार, they have some idea, some thought है. सही गलत छोड़ दीजिए. खुद के बारे में है, पूरे सिस्टम के बारे में है, या फिर गवर्नमेंट के बारे में है, देश के बारे में है, बाकी नागरिकों के बारे में है, सब कुछ सही. द लास्ट पॉइंट, knowledge about the political process of decision making, that is where most Indians are lacking it. Because if you ask any Indian today also, pade, unpade, whatever it is, they will tell one thing flat. Are sab log chor hai. Are sab log chor hai. It's a blanket statement used basically to hide their lack of awareness. Because when they say, why कानून ऐसा, कोई system को ऐसा क्यों नहीं बनाते, system को ऐसा नहीं कर सकते, because that, why they are telling that, they don't know how the whole law-making process works. How a decision has to be approved by the cabinet, then how it has to be presented as a bill in the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, how it needs to be cleared by both the houses, how it needs an approval from the side of the president, and how it, if it affects the powers of the state, how important it is to get ratification from at least half of the state legislatures. This whole thing nobody knows. Getting the point here? This is where most Indians are lacking. And unfortunately or fortunately, sometimes that can lead to frustration or extreme level of happiness, because they are so satisfied with the way government is not functioning, because they feel this is the way to run. Sometimes they feel, oh, government is not doing anything. Because taking a decision and that decision to get converted to an effective policy and then to have it implemented, this will take time. Who are aware of it? Unfortunately, people who prepare for government competitive exams, they are aware. Or people who work with the government, people who have to deal with the government, they are aware. Otherwise, no. Political culture classification. Based on the surveys conducted by Almond and Verba in the USA, Britain, West Germany, Italy, and Mexico, they have classified political culture into the following. Again, look at the names of the countries where they conducted the survey. USA, Britain, West Germany, Italy, and then Mexico. That is, it is largely from the Western world. Based on that, they have created a political culture. First one, parochial political culture. Parochial का मतलब है narrow. Any questions still here, people? Any doubts? I've been going on taking because it's too general of a topic. Okay. Citizens are only distantly aware of the existence of central government, as with remote tribes whose existence is seemingly unaffected by national decisions made by the central government. This parochial political culture we can see basically where even today, like I told you, in Chhattisgarh, basically TV was kept for the first time in 75 years or something. They saw a TV. पूरा गांव वाले उनके उसके सामने आकर बैठ लिया सुबह से लेकर शाम तक. They just dropped all their work, came and sat in front of the TV. Why? That is the first time that they are seeing it. So the point here is simple. There are people so that is like one example only. Chhattisgarh is just one example, but largely in other parts, say in Bangalore, now you keep a TV and open it and keep, people will hardly give it any importance because everybody's TV today is their smartphone. Correct. So imagine a culture where people have no interest in whatever is happening from the central government side. You can almost say this was the case when East India Company, EIC, took over Indian administration. Kyun? There is no political orientation towards political objects. Indians were generally disinterested. People have neither knowledge nor interest in politics. Very, very true of the Indian society back then. They have no orientation towards all components of politics. Central government or provincial government or local government are like, ye, kya hai ye sab? What elections you people are talking? This type of political culture is compatible with a traditional political structure. Traditional largely means it will be a king's rule mostly, where people won't have any active interest in the politics. Or in other words, they'll be largely showing theory X behavior or immaturity theory. कोई दिलचस्पी नहीं है राजनीति से जुड़े हुए मामलों के साथ. This type of orientation is found in a passive society where there is hardly any specialization of roles, and therefore people are indifferent towards governmental authority. People have low awareness, expectations, and participation. No interest, which is very true again during the time of the British. We had no interest basically. Varna, if you actually see the size of England, Great Britain at that point, or even today, it is very, very small. It is too small. Smaller than some of our states in this country. Forget country. And we were having enough number of population here. If all the population would have together, that is simple. Britishers with all their technology and everything, their disciplined army, etc., they were easily able to win wars here in India. Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, etc. Why? No unity among the Indians. Constantly the kings were fighting with each other. All right, they never thought for a minute, यार आपस के झगड़ा हम बाद में कर लेते हैं, पहले ये बाहर से जितने भी लोग आए हैं इन्हें हम निकाल देंगे यहाँ से. Nobody thought about that. Nobody thought about uniting against the outsider. Rather, they all started fighting with each other. Britishers were able to win here. Correct? Same Britishers fought 4 Afghan wars. The Anglo-Afghan wars, if you count, 4 Afghan wars were fought. And Afghanistan is what? Again, a very, very small region, less number of people compared to Indians. But Britishers, forget Britishers, the Russians, the Americans have never been able to win even a single war fought in Afghan soil. Why? Extremely fierce about their independence. An Afghani will tolerate anything, but no foreign intervention, no outsider intervention. That they will never tolerate. They are very active in that matter. They have very high expectations of their freedom. They are highly aware and they will participate. Small kids will come and throw stones there in Afghanistan. If you are a foreigner and if you have come there to use force to subjugate them, they are never going to handle it. Getting the point here? So that is parochial culture for you. Subject political culture. Subject political culture means citizens see themselves not as participants in the political process but as subjects of the government. Means subjects like almost like slaves. Dictator will decide, I will agree to it. Saddam Hussein, Muammar Gaddafi, all are the same. Citizens under this political culture have a passive orientation towards the political system and conceive themselves as having a minimum influence on the political process. Matlab, what can I do? They are all powerful people. What will I do? That sort of a thing. This was largely there you can see it in the Middle East. Citizens are aware of the central government and are heavily subjected to its decisions with little scope for dissent. They are aware. Saddam Hussein is ruling. Gaddafi is ruling. Or Idi Amin is ruling. They are very aware. But they also know that koi dangal ya fir you cannot give a reply back. They know they cannot do anything. Whatever happens, they have to accept it. The individual is aware of politics, its actors and institutions. Citizens have orientations towards the output aspects of the system. People know about decision-making mechanisms. They know, they are aware. Because in such societies, again, subject-based culture, in such societies, system will be very, very simple. Why? Because it will be mostly one man taking all the decisions. सारा फैसला एक ही entity से आता है. So it will be a very simple system. Be it the legislature, be it the executive, be it the judiciary. It will be a very simple, straightforward system. Again, there is a political awareness, but no confidence to air political views. Thus, there is an absence of participatory norms. They have thoughts, they want to say it also, but they don't do it. Why? Fear of life. You can easily get arrested, you can get thrown in jail, you can even get executed. It is compatible with a centralized authoritarian structure. The people have a higher level of awareness and expectations, but very low participation. They don't participate. Why? Fear of arrest, imprisonment, or death. Participant political culture. As the word says, participant means what? Citizens are participating. Citizens are actively involved here. Citizens believe that they can contribute to the system and that they are affected by it. They respond positively to all political objects and have an active orientation to political activities. Contribute to the system, respond positively. Citizens can influence the government in various ways and they are affected by it. Individual is oriented towards the system, towards all the four components of politics: input, output, political system, and self-rule. This encourages more and more participation, and participation is the highest value. Actively involved. Participant political culture You can say from the 50s onwards, it would have probably started. Comparative public administration, because people again got independence. Many countries started working on their own system. They're working on their own problems. So many, and as more and more people became aware or they got political rights, they started exercising it. But peak of it, if you really see, it has started happening very recently. Why? Thanks to social media. Social media has really made it possible to bring in participant political culture, because these days people are directly involved in every matter. They are putting up tweets, they are sharing their views, they are putting up posts in LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp status, Facebook, etc. Openly telling, or even YouTube, openly sharing their thoughts and views. Getting the point here? So today we can say literally participant political culture is something which we are seeing world over. World over, we are able to see it. Clear? Moving on. There is an ability to criticize the authority and hold a positive orientation towards the political system. People have a high level of awareness, expectations, and participation. That is the beauty. We know today we have basically the whole troll slash meme culture, which is actually encouraging the participant political culture. और एक और चीज है, ये ट्रॉल और मीम कल्चर के वजह से क्या हो रहा है, वो जो भगवान के तरह पॉलिटिशियंस को देखने का वो कल्चर जो था वो कम होते होते जा रहा है. People have started actually questioning things objectively. Only started, I would say. For people to actually become properly to show participant political culture in India, they should break away from the chains of caste, color, creed, sex, religion, region, language, everything. Uske liye we'll still have to wait. But a welcome change. Getting the point here? Almond and Verba argue that there is never a single political culture. मतलब एक ही जगह पर तीन कल्चर्स भी आप देख सकते हैं. टेक इंडिया इटसेल्फ. So if you talk about Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, or any tribal society in our country, tribal societies, wherever it is there, if you ask them politics, BJP, Congress, they'll be like, what BJP, what Congress you people are talking? They will hardly show any interest. True. Hardly they will show any interest. B. If you look at some of the political parties in our country, there is no internal democracy. That is, they are not supposed to criticize their party leader. No criticism will be tolerated there. या फिर you are not supposed to praise the opposite person from another camp. Case in point being, very recently you would have, I don't know whether people are following the news or not, but very recently you would have seen how Shashi Tharoor was criticized by his own party for actually praising Mr. Narendra Modi and the alliance, whatever meetings took place between Modi and Trump. He said that's very good, whatever has happened. It looks very, it looks good for India. He made one statement. It did not go well either with the Congress faction in Kerala or with the Congress faction in Delhi. They did not like it. Shashi Tharoor is a true definition of what a statesman should be, because whenever he speaks or when he talks from a larger perspective of country, what is beneficial, etc., etc. He talks from that viewpoint. Can't help it. He was brought up and his experience, job experience, etc. are all related to his vision for the country. But that is never liked here. And that is actually political parties, there is no internal democracy, or in other words, you can basically see subject political culture there, where if you belong to the political party, you have to abide by whatever your leader says. So if your leader is telling you to give a propaganda of a lie, give a jhoot go phaila, you have to do it, even if you like it or not. Getting the point here? Finally, see, you generally look like I told you, today's Gen Z, if you see, they are participants in political culture. They may not vote, but they are very active online with trolls and memes. Getting the point here? The three categories of political orientations which they have identified are not always present in a pure form. Rather, they are intermixed in many situations of political culture. Thus, they reclassified political culture into three subtypes. We'll see that, but before that, any doubts still here? Parochial and subject. This type of political culture represents a shift from parochial orientation to subject orientation. Here, the parochial loyalties gradually get weathered and the inhabitants develop a greater awareness of the central authority. Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, that whole Dantewada region, etc. So, when you go there and you interact with them, that is when you realize that many Naxals have picked the weapon only because they don't know that there is a government of India. I'm not joking. I'm being very serious here. They don't know that there is a government. They think that there is nobody. Who are those other people in uniform? They are our enemies. Who told you that they are your enemies? Our leaders told us. Getting the point here? So each and every time when you do a welfare measure in the Naxal area, that is how these Naxals are ultimately realizing that, okay, government of India has a school. Oh, they will give us food. Oh, there are hospitals. Oh, this is how they understand it. So slowly from parochial, they become what? Subject. Because at a stretch, they will not say, okay, give me my voting rights, give me my Aadhaar card, give me my Ayushman Bharat card. No. Now they have become subject. They are aware of things now. That there is a government of India. There is a state government. Those are not our enemies. Those are CRPF personnel. Awareness. But still low participation. Subject and participant. This type of political culture represents a shift from subject political orientation to participant political orientation. In such a political culture, people generally, on the one hand, develop an activist tendency and participate in the process. But on the other hand, there are those individuals too who possess passive orientations and remain at the receiving end of the decision-making process. Women in our country. On one side, we have many people who are actively taking part in politics, questioning everything. On the other side, we are even seeing what? Passive orientations. Example, the whole Sarpanch Pati system in our country. Sarpanch Pati system. She is aware. She knows she is supposed to be the Sarpanch. But then she will hide under the pallu of her own sari and her husband will take the control of everything. Subject also, she's a participant, but she's still a subject. Participant in the political process, but still the meek, mellow down wife at her home. Husband will decide whether she should go to the panchayat office or not. Clear? Moving on. Parochial and participant. This type of political culture represents the parochial orientation in the individuals, whereas the norms introduced require a participant political orientation. In such type of political culture, there emerges a problem of harmony between the political culture and political norm. However, Almond and Berber suggest that a participatory political culture fits a liberal democratic regime. The participant political culture is the type of political culture that is congruent with a democratic political structure, and the same has been called by them as civic culture. अब ये क्या है? Parochial भी, participant भी. Parochial means you don't care who is the authority, what it is, you will do whatever you want. Norms introduced require a participant political culture. Means 73rd and 74th Amendment is there to basically encourage Panchayati Raj institutions and municipalities. ये है norm to have local self-government at the grassroots level, पंचायत लेवल पर और municipality लेवल पर. एक रूरल एरिया के लिए, दूसरा अर्बन एरियाज. This is their norm is there now. But neither the voters in the villages nor the people staying in cities have any interest in the panchayat elections or in the municipality elections. They rather show parochial culture there. But for true democracy, for a liberal democracy, what is really essential? You need people's involvement. You need participation. Getting the idea? Moving on. Samuel E. Feiner, the man on the horseback 1962, came to relate civil-military relations with political culture. In his analysis, there are 4 levels of political culture. Civil-military relations say influenced Doker, he came up with 4 levels of political culture. So we have seen what? So far, parochial, subject, participant. And then 3 other variants of this. That also we saw. Parochial subject, subject participant, participant parochial. That we saw. Now, Samuel E. Feiner has given 4 other levels of political culture. They are mature political culture, developed political culture, low political culture, and minimal political culture. Mature political culture. In this type of political culture, there is widespread public approval of the procedure for transfer of power. A belief that the persons in power have the right to govern and issue orders, that people are attached to the political institutions, and there is a well-mobilized public opinion. Elections in India, USA. After that election, whoever wins, we agree that yes, this person has won, this person has the right to govern us now. That's a mature political system. USA, we know that last time when Trump lost the election, few of his supporters did not believe in it. They said that the election is foul. They did not believe in it. And they tried to create a problem there, a law and order issue, etc. They tried to create, but somehow it was averted. But in India, we can see one thing, always, whatever the election result, generally we accept it. Generally, like, okay, this person has won, now this party will rule us. That's the sign of a mature political system. Some of you might feel, what is the big deal? The big deal, I will tell you, not a single government in Pakistan has ever completed 5 years. in the last 75, 77 years. सुनने में हैरान होंगे क्या? एक भी गवर्नमेंट 5 साल पूरी तरीके से they have never completed it. Even sometimes when the elections are won by a particular party and the military did not like, ये party कैसे जीत लिया? Cancel all the election, military power we are imposing. Military rule we are imposing. This is how things work in Pakistan. Whereas in India, if you see, barring that only 2 years of 75, 77, when emergency was called, that entire 47 से लेकर आज तक, we have accepted the verdicts of election. We have accepted that yes, now if UPA is coming to power, we will accept whatever they are going to do. If NDA is going to power, we will accept what they are going to do. That is the sign of political maturity, which we Indians have. Developed political culture. In this type of political culture, the civil institutions are highly developed and the public is well organized into powerful groups. But from time to time, there arises a dispute on the questions of who and what should constitute the sovereign authority and how power should be transferred. Developed political culture. यानी कि सारे institutions हैं, सब कुछ सही सलामत चल रहा है, लेकिन every now and then there arises a dispute on the questions of who and what should constitute sovereign authority and how power should be transferred. There will always be issues, one or the other way. Now, who should govern? Should it be the president or the prime minister, or should it be military rule? How the power transfer should take place now from military rule, how to get back to elections again? Always there will be conflict. Best example again, Pakistan. Because they too have all the institutions there. President is there, Prime Minister is there, Election Commission is there, everything is there. But what is not there? The smooth transition of power. That is never there. Because the military is so powerful. To quote Shashi Tharoor again, India is a country that controls an army. Pakistan is an army that controls a country. Getting the point here? Low political culture. At this level of political culture, the political system is weak and narrowly organized. There is a lack of consensus on the nature of the political system, and the procedures and the public attachment to the political system is fragile. Totally fragile. That means anything can happen at any point of time. System itself is weak. Somalia, where the government changes every week. Every week, government changes. That means president changes. Minimal political culture. At this lower level of political culture, articulate public opinion does not exist in the political system, and the government can easily ignore public opinion. Political cultures are decided by force or the threat of force. A person or institution capable of asserting itself can enforce its will, and the extent of one's authority is directly related to the degree of force at one's disposal. Feiner argued that developing countries with weak legitimacy are prone to experience coup d'etat or extreme forms of military intervention. Culture itself is not there. The whole thing that let us come together, let us keep elections, let us give voting rights, that culture itself is not there. Then what is there? Might is right. Whoever is having the force, whoever is having the bigger gun, whoever is having more bullets, they will form the party. They will have the power. Till the next person gets the bigger gun, gets the, larger bullets, that I can be in power. If somebody comes tomorrow with a bigger gun and more bullets, he or she will kill me, then they will be in power. Best example for that, Uganda. Always controversies favorite child or favorite country in Africa. Every day, one or the other barbaric activity keeps happening there. Clear? Any doubts, people? 1 minute. Continuing. Anglo-American political system, associated with the advanced countries of the West, even termed as matured political culture. It incorporates a political consensus and higher degree of organization. It is the operating system that acts as the benchmark which is being borrowed by other nationalities. The political culture of the system has the following characteristics. No doubt about it. We always keep telling, look at the West, what is happening. And I told you earlier also, now a Department of Efficiency has been created in the system with Elon Musk heading it. Whether it becomes successful or a failure, that is a second question. But there is a very good chance that the idea of it can be later borrowed to Europe. From Europe, it can reach Asia. If it reaches Asia, means definitely it can reach India. Getting the idea? So let us see its characteristics now. A multi-valued, rational, calculating, bargaining, and experimental political culture. There is a sharing of political ends, the values of freedom, mass welfare, and security, and means. Means what? Multiple values. Multiple values. It is not just that we'll make only policies for white Americans or Afro-Americans or only for Indians. No, whenever they make it so that it suits the entire society. Rational, calculating. So if you watch the US elections, you'll be sometimes surprised. Ordinary people will be asking, so if I vote for you, what will you do for the truck drivers like me? Tell me. This is the way they will talk. They are not at all disturbed, or they are not scared by the fact that this guy tomorrow could be the president. They are not afraid at all. Very rational. That means almost zero emotions. Bargaining and experimental. They will bargain. What else? That other candidate is offering me so much. What are you going to give? Offer means not a freebie offer. What is happening in our country? Proper developmental policies. What insurance are you going to bring? What new rules will you bring which will help the women? Proper questions they will ask. A secularized political system involves individuation of a measure of autonomy among the various roles. The political system is saturated with the atmosphere of the market. Policies offered by candidate are viewed as hypotheses, and the consequences of the legislation are rapidly communicated within the system and constitute a crude form of testing hypothesis. Two things to take away from this point. Secularized political system. By secularized, politics stays completely out of religion. So no place for emotion. That is the reason why they are able to think so straight, so ahead for their country. This is the reason. Keep religion out of it. The moment you keep religion out of politics, then there is no scope for emotion. Then what is important there? Saturated with the atmosphere of the market. Means if it is in demand, then supply it. Profit orientation. And needless to say, it is always 3 E's. Efficiency, economy, effectiveness. Effectiveness of the policies. Whether this policy is better than that or that policy is better than this. The basic principles of the system: liberty, equality, democracy, civic duty, individual responsibility, trade unionism. What are you going to do for your country? That is the point there. It is not about ये आएगा तो सारा प्रॉब्लम्स खत्म, वो आएगा तो सारा प्रॉब्लम्स खत्म. खुद क्या करोगे खुद का प्रॉब्लम्स खत्म करने के लिए? That is the idea there. Bargaining politics. between rulers and the ruled, the elected and electors, leaders and its followers. They keep bargaining. Plenty of videos, you will see it in YouTube. Plenty of videos. Will I get, there is this famous video again where a woman is like asking Donald Trump in the old election, not the current one, will I get equal pay as a man if I go for a job? Will I get the same payment as a man? And then she gives a look at Trump. Trump takes the mic and says, well, if you do as good a job as a man, I will ensure that you're paid well, as much as a man. See, that is the point. This is the way of interaction that is supposed to be. Not that half of the people, when the moment they see the Prime Minister, they are like, oh my God, and they faint and fall. That shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't get caught in the whole aura or the personality or the charisma. Instead, we should judge a person for what they are doing or not doing. Getting the point here? In that sense of the word, if you see, Western political system is very, very matured. The society is heterogeneous and therefore different parties and interest groups operate to influence the decision-making process in response to their respective interests. It's very, very heterogeneous and there are different parties. Different parties are there. But when we say different parties, we must understand it is not the countless number of parties like how we have it in our country. No. So in USA also, if you see, it's Republicans and Democrats. Democrats, it's largely the whole concept of inclusivity, respect all cultures, respect all types of, orientations, all of that. Republicans, very clear. Hard right. Means what? America Zindabad. Americans first. Jobs for Americans. American welfare. After that, let us think about the other people. That is their concept here. Clear? Checks and balances. There is a diffusion of power and influence where legal institutions are checked by the channels of mass communication and mass education so that the prospect of authoritarian rule is mitigated, even eliminated. That means all the institutions do their job. Simply put, media will be strong. That is what mass communication means. People are also aware. So everybody does their job properly. Separation of power and stability of differentiated roles. Everybody does their own role. Proper separation. Legislature, executive, judiciary, everything separate. Political ideologies will revolve around multiculturalism, libertarianism, welfare state, utilitarianism, individualism, egalitarianism. Multiple cultures. If you take USA, Mexicans, Indians, Chinese, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, all of them, you're free to do anything you want as long as you don't tamper with another individual's freedom. Welfare state. Government tries to take care of the people there. And that is also the reason why the taxes are very high there. Good roads, hospitals, school facilities, like I told you, in USA, etc., the culture is just that you open the pipe water from your tap kitchen. Open the tap water. As the water gets filled, you can drink it. You can drink it. That is their idea of a welfare there. Drinking from a tap water directly. Can you imagine that? In India, we have a whole system or process for it. First, collect the water and then allow it to settle down for a few times. Then we filter the contents out and then we boil it. And after boiling it, after it cools down, only then we drink it. Getting the point here? That is the difference. Utilitarianism. Utilitarianism simply means utility, benefit. That is, it should give maximum benefit to the maximum number of people. That policy we will follow. Individualism, definitely individual rights are at its peak. Everybody will be treated equally. Man, woman, race. Political folklore, use of symbols. Use of symbols. Symbols means it is not just your party symbol. So like I told you, in USA, if you go, if you want to know who is a Republican or in which house there is a gun, simple guess you can make by looking at the house. Why? If a flag is kept outside 24/7, that means there is a good chance that a gun will be there inside. And that person also will be a Republican who supports gun laws, who believes in carrying his own firearm, will be probably driving a truck, that too, truck which is made in USA. So from the vehicle itself, you will be able to know who that person is. Because generally, if you look at these people, mostly they'll be driving a Ford. Because Ford is an American company. They will support only those companies. From that itself, you'll get to know, this person, it's a Republican. He will be having a gun. This much guesswork you can make. There will be and that too, the gun also, including the gun which will be kept inside the vehicle. Even the gun also will be what? Made in USA. They proudly carry it, that prestige. Yes, we are Americans. Getting the point here? Continental European political system. These are the Western countries of Europe, like Italy, France, and Norway, etc. It's even considered a developed political culture because in these societies, public is highly organized. They have a fragmented political culture. Political culture is fragmented, where different sections of society establish different patterns of cultural development, while some are more developed than others. Thereby, political culture incorporates distinctive subcultures. Fragmented means what? Broken down. Each region has its own culture. Recently, German elections got over. And German elections voting pattern also, if you see, East Germany has one pattern, West Germany has another pattern. Fragmented, broken down. No political bargaining. The process of political bargaining is virtually non-existent. That creates a situation in which politics becomes like a game. The result is that various subcultures are at war. It is a race of superiority and power. No political bargaining is not an entirely true point. But yes, in some matters, once a law is passed, it is passed. Case in point being the complete burqa ban. Burqa is banned in France in many public places. You are not supposed to wear any religious symbols where they cannot identify you or they cannot see your face. They have completely banned it. Obviously, some people will not find it nice. They'll protest against it. So you will find subcultures. People who are not happy with that whole culture, they will have their own politics. Why? Why did you give a burqa ban? This is against our religious freedom. So they will have a different political belief. Expected criteria. Stability of institutions guaranteeing democracy, rule of law, human rights, protection of minority, etc. Form of governance. It imbibes both monarchism, republicanism, presidential, semi-presidential, parliamentary republic, republic, etc. For instance, countries like Belgium, Netherlands, Sweden, Spain, etc. have constitutional monarchies. Europe, it's a mixed bag. You will find constitution is also there, but king's rule is also there. Belgium king only we call it even now. Getting the point. Formation of international organizations, for example, European Union, legitimacy of institutions, civilian government. So Europe, it's actually a mixed bag. So some places of Europe are really nice to stay and live. Some places are not. Some places it is very strict. Some places are not. Keeps varying. Developing countries' political system. This category includes countries that emerged from the days of long colonial domination. Master and subjects. The political culture of the masters is superimposed over the political culture of the subjects. The result is the erosion of political culture of the subjects and the superimposition of the political culture of the rulers that is deemed to be superior in all respects. That is, generally after the Britishers left, the whole culture of Ghulam, yes boss, Unfortunately, it exists even today. So, if the people who are in power, if they have enough resources, they can influence your political thought process itself. They can make you believe that what they are doing is right, that what they are uh, thinking or going to do, their policies, etc., all these are right. They can make you do that. That is the first thing here. It is true to a large extent. This is true because irrespective of whoever rules, by the way, we can see it at the state level, you can see it at the central level also. Why this culture is because this has come from the British era. Because we were fascinated by the white Britishers. So we kept on looking up to them. And that looking up to your ruler, that culture exists even today. Clear? New source of legitimacy by the rule over time means they will always find one or the other way to say that why I should be in power. If I am in power, what will I do? They will, excuse me. If I am in power, what will I do? So that new source, I will do this for you, I will do that for you. They will always try to show something else, some new way to continue being in power. Single structure and a multivariate political culture. Structure will be generally the same for almost all the political parties, and multiple cultures will be there. You can see what is CPM's political ideology may not be the same as BSP's. That won't be the same as Samajwadi. That won't be the same as Trinamool Congress. That won't be the same as Congress. That won't be the same as BJP. But structure is largely the same. Commonality of history. We all have our common history. Primacy to the subject through providing voting rights and people's participation in governance. Importance is given to the voter. How? Through political rights, because he or she has to cast the vote. Agro-industrial fused society. Agro-industrial fused society means here you will find charisma is also working, plus intellectual capacity or individual capacity, what you are able to do. Merit is also working. That is, people even today vote on the basis of what? They vote on the basis of one, the charisma of the individual, or who is this individual? Baap kaun tha, maa kaun the, dada kaun the, pardada kaun the, that logic. At the same time, based on pure merit also, people are voted. Both you will see here. Totalitarian political system. These countries include, the countries included here are the Soviet Union and China. These systems are characterized by the following features. Legitimacy of center. The quality of the acceptance of the legitimacy is artificially created. The characteristic orientation to authority tends to be some combination of conformity or apathy produced by the central control or the means of communication and of the agencies of violence. Means complete control with the government. Now in China, I basically told you, China does not have Facebook. China does not have WhatsApp. China does not have Instagram. The Chinese versions of these are available there. While we are busy doing reels, Badal, Barisa, all that nonsense, what do Chinese kids see in these reels? How to repair the fridge, how to make a mini compressor, how to make a fan. These videos, these are the videos what the Chinese children are seeing or teenagers are seeing. So imagine you keep viewing these type of videos. Don't you think one day you will also feel, these things are there in my home. Why not? I will also try to make a small air conditioner then. They will end up making it. When you keep watching videos that every Tom, Dick, and Harry today is starting a YouTube channel, they are also doing reels, they are making money. 100 videos if you keep watching, don't you think you will be also tempted to make one video? Same. China is doing it in a different way though. Chinese version of Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram is there. Can Chinese people say we want the Western version only, what is made by USA? They can't even demand it. Getting the point here. There is concentration of power, hierarchy of bureaucracy, police and army is there, because all this, if you look at China, it is controlled by the Chinese, the Communist Party of China. Coercion as the hallmark of the exercise of authority. Coercion means force is used. Single pattern of cultural development, unitary system, lesser people participation. People also will not try to participate, because you try to criticize the government, you will be placed under house arrest. That is a warning. 6 months house arrest. You are not supposed to go out. You won't have any internet connection, nothing. You can't go out. You are inside. Whatever you need, they will give you. Fruits, vegetables, etc. It will come to you. But no stepping outside. After 6 months after that, if you again do it, then you will be imprisoned. With nice beatings, etc. will follow. After that also, if you still continue, then you are gone. You will be gayab, vanished from the face of the earth. This is the general system by which China works. So when anybody knows that this is the system, 6 month house arrest, then jail, then death, obviously people will have no interest in participating in it. Clear? Any doubts so far, people? So let us now move to the next topic, which is India's political culture. The political culture of India is heterogeneous. In ancient India, owing to monarchy and poor political awareness, the political culture was parochial, no doubt, Kautilyan era. The British rule brought the people of India under a single political power. The British rule created an elitist culture which was later inherited by the political executives of our country. This elitist culture, whatever they started, we have been following. That is the reason why Gandhi was totally appalled. Government of India Act 1935, 1935 to 1937, Congress representatives were in power in different provinces. They became ministers, etc. They started literally following whatever the Britishers used to do. That is their own car, their bungalow, everything. Gandhi was like, you people were, till yesterday, you people were so humble and simple. Now suddenly you people are following the British ways. Getting the point? So continuing. So India's political culture. The British rule brought the people of India under a single political power. The British rule created an elitist culture which was later inherited by the political executives of our country. The discontentment with the British rule made the people aware of their rights and duties. So politically, we started becoming very aware. We then started understanding that we need not be the gulam of anybody, slave of anybody. 1947, August 15, when we became independent, when we got our preamble, our constitution, slowly the process started. The various national movements were responsible for making the people become participative. Following independence, this participatory culture was encouraged and ensured through universal adult suffrage. So the freedom movement was instrumental. See, why the freedom movement is considered, or why we consider Gandhiji to be a Mahatma even today, the reason is that he basically brought the people to fight politically for what they are entitled to. अपने हक के लिए लड़ाई करो, and that too in a peaceful manner. Getting the point here. However, a significant section of the society is immune to ideas like democracy, liberalism, rule of law, autonomy, supremacy of the judiciary, etc. They are the mass of India. Supremacy, judiciary, liberty, freedom, वो क्या है? They don't care about it much. There's a larger section. They will still vote on the basis of what? Caste, color, creed, religion, all of that. Gender. They exhibit a political culture of confrontation and cooperation with the elite political system. Confrontation, cooperation. Matlab, either they will confront it completely, just like how Congress supporters will hate BJP. BJP supporters will hate Congress. But when their own neta comes, they'll be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That culture. Getting the point here. The problem with a heterogeneous political culture is, while multi-ethnicity is a tool for checks and balances, it can obstruct commitment and loyalty of the people towards the nation. Matlab, commitment is towards own caste, own religion, own region, all of that. I've always told you, just go try telling your parents that you want to marry somebody outside your caste. Subcaste, not even caste, subcaste you say. Murder will happen at your home. I know my own friends' parents were basically told, what is it, बेकारी से भी शादी करवा देगा अगर वो इस मजहब का है तो, लेकिन तुमसे मेरी बेटी की शादी कभी नहीं होगा. That means the only criteria for marrying of the daughter should be the same religion and caste. He is a bekari, he is a good for nothing fellow, that and all is secondary. Indian parents think like that, Indian society thinks like that. So obviously political culture is also what? Based on that. Nationalism is not the feeling here. The feeling is what? Your own subcultures. In India, there is an overall cynicism towards politics and political leaders. Overall cynicism is also there. That is, sab log chor hai, sare party chor hai. That is there. The masses hold them responsible for their impoverished life. Or in other words, in Indian society, the whole thing about self-responsibility, that is not there. Literally not there. Few people may be thinking like that. But majority society, if you see, if you ask them, भैया आपका problem क्या है जिंदगी में? अरे government कुछ नहीं कर रहे हमारे लिए, हम गरीब लोग क्या करें? This is the general talk. This is the general statement that you will always keep hearing. Clear? 1950s to 75, proactive political culture with new institutions being set up and planning goals being achieved. 75 to 77, dictatorial culture with administration joining the bandwagon. Joining the bandwagon means administration also supported the emergency. From IAS to IPS to all the central and state services. Post-emergency to 1990s, political culture becomes realistic and pragmatic. 1990s to 2014, era of coalitions. 2014 to 2024, single party rule. 2024, back to coalition. Literally everybody. That is, I remember when I was doing my public administration classes back in Delhi, that time they told, 2014, that time my PubAd faculty basically told me, सिंगल पार्टी कभी भी इंडिया में आने वाला नहीं है. आगे से you are only going to see what? You are only going to see coalition rule. Within 4 years, what do you see? Coalition khatam. 2014 to 2024, we literally saw what? Single party in power. A single party alone bringing in more than 272 MPs. And then, even me, I thought, Gaya, no more coalition in this country. That it is not possible. Lo and behold, 2024, back to coalition. One look at this data itself, you can clearly see nothing you can predict when it comes to Indian political culture or political outcomes. It's highly unpredictable. You can still make a prediction with regard to the Western world. Western politics, where it is headed to. I can clearly tell you, Western politics is largely headed towards what? It is headed towards extreme right wing. That means more privatization, more of nationalism. See, more promotion towards a common culture rather than multicultural. More preference for citizens or locals. This is Western culture. I can predict this and I can tell you that is where henceforth, don't be surprised in the Western world if whichever party is giving preference to their local citizens, local manufacturers, discouraging immigrants, not allowing immigrants to get citizenship that easily, putting a curb on illegal immigration, those parties will win the election. I can predict it and it will happen. I shared that same thing earlier in the current affairs class also. So that will happen. But in India's case, no way to know. Just when you think this is what will happen, it's exact opposite will happen. Clear, people? One last topic is there, mass-based politics. We will take it up after a break. And with that, the chapter also will get over. Two more topics are there in that chapter if you have seen the syllabus. Bureaucracy and democracy, bureaucracy and development. Both the topics we have already discussed it under Max Weber. There I have given you the examples also. What is the problem today? These other topics, bureaucracy, democracy, etc., we'll be taking it up again under rural administration, urban administration. It's a very wide topic. Like I have already told you and I'm keeping on telling you, many topics are overlapping and repeated topics these are. So that automatically makes the syllabus very, very small. Unlike what many people say, it's a vast syllabus. It's not at all a vast syllabus. It's a very compressed syllabus. Clear? So mass-based politics onwards, we will take it up in the afternoon. All right. And we'll be starting with our third chapter then, PSUs. Okay, people.